going on, guys? My name is Cody Kearse. I'm an Estes team member, and as always, I'm here to empower you through the use of science. Today I've got a really cool project to show you, but before I do that, I want to apologize for the lighting. As you can see, it's a little bit dark on camera today. That's because my power has been out all day. I've literally had to be doing everything on my iPad. And so, for today's purposes only, the lighting is going to be a little low because I'm running on a generator. Thank you very much to all you wonderful engineers that design generators to make this YouTube video possible. Okay guys, let's jump right into the project. What I wanted to do is I wanted to figure out a way to improve my basketball shots, and I wanted to make sure that the methods I was using was going to actually be beneficial to me in the long run, right? I'm going to show you how I set up this experiment and how you can set up your own experiment to track pretty much anything that you think you can improve on practice to see if what you're using to practice is actually an effective method to improve your skills. Okay, so before I do that, let me try my one last jump shot. I've been doing this all day. Oh my gosh, I made it. And it actually dinged the camera too. All right, 2-for-1 special. Here we go, guys. I'm going to show you how I set this up. What I did was over the past 5 days, I took 10 jump shots, twice a day, okay? I did it once in the morning and once in the evening. What I did was after each one of those sets, twice a day, I recorded how many I made out of 10, okay? So what ended up happening was I had this big list of 10 sets that I did twice a day, right? And for each one, I recorded how many I made out of 10. So in the first column, I just simply wrote sets. In the second column, I simply wrote the number that I made. And then in the third column, all it is a possible label, which means how many I could do possibly, which is 10. And that's just there for my own reference so that I can easily relate it to a ratio. So in this case, it's like 6 to 10. In this one, 3 out of 10. In this one, 4 out of 10. You get the idea, right? So I got all these numbers, right? What am I supposed to do with them now that I have them to represent them in some kind of way that makes sense? Let's move on over to the other side of the board and I'll show you how I decided to demonstrate this to us. Okay. What I used was a little piece of a Cartesian plane, okay? For all you math nuts out there, if you remember or if you don't, who cares? But for our purposes, I'll define it really quickly. A Cartesian plane is nothing more than something that literally intersects kind of like this. Looks like a plus sign, right? You'll have usually something labeled between 1 and 10 going this way, 1 and 10 this way, maybe -1 through -10 this way and that way as well, right? And then you kind of can use that to point plots and do all kind of cool graphs, right? But what I did is I just used the upper right-hand corner because I figured that's all I really need for this experiment. So follow me and I'll show you just how I set this up over here to demonstrate it to us in some kind of presentable way. On the bottom, on what's referred to as the x-axis down here, I went ahead and put 1 through 10, and that's going to represent the set number. 1 and 2 here being the first two that I ever did, and down here, that's where they would be represented on the graph, okay? And then the pattern just continues all the way through 10. On this side, the y-axis, I went 1 through 10 on how many shots I made. And that's going to correspond to the particular set that I did, right? So 1 through 10 here, and that's going to correspond to the numbers here that I made. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first one. So for the first set, which is right here, I went ahead and I made 6, right? So all I did was I put a point there, all right? I did the same thing for the second one. Let's see, I went and made 3, so I put 1 right here. And on the second one, right, see how it matches up? I did this for the entire set series, okay? And then what I ended up having was this nice little scatter plot here with all these little points all over the graph. And from there, we still kind of don't know exactly what we're doing. Maybe we see a little bit of a pattern that's kind of going in this direction and going up. But we want to make sure, right? We want to make sure that what we're seeing is not just an illusion and that there's actual, data to back that up. So what I used is something called the line of best fit. And this is a very simple concept. All you do is take the total number of points that you've plotted, you divide that in half. So I did 10, so the number that I'm looking for is 5. And all you want to do is make a line that goes through the points that has 5 on the north side and 5 on the south side, or 5 on the top and 5 on the bottom, in my case, right? Because you just want to have half on top and half on bottom. And then you draw a line that can go through the points without touching any of them. So in my case, you can see there's 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here for 5 on the top, and 5 on the bottom, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. If you're just doing this and you're eyeballing it, it can take a few minutes. I actually had to sit here a couple times and draw my line a few times until I got it to where I wanted to. So don't worry if it takes you a little bit. That's normal, absolutely normal. But again, this line, after we've done this, can represent a a little bit to us maybe what happened, just a little bit. It might actually, there could be other things going on, but if we're just looking at these two variables, it might help us get a grasp of whether or not our practicing each day is actually improving our skills, right? Okay, so if you follow me to the conclusion here, you see how this line kind of goes a little bit up and to the right, right? Maybe at like a 35-degree angle if I had to guess, right? In scientific terms, this is kind of known as a correlation. And all that is when you have one variable down here sets, does this variable change the more you introduce this into the experiment? And sure enough, from what I'm seeing, it looks like I am getting better. It looks over the past 5 days, and 100 shots later at the free throw line, I am actually getting better. And that's the way I can tell this is because the line seems to be going up. And the more it goes up, the more sure that I'll be about that. If it was really flat, I might assume that, it's probably not really working that well. But because I have a generally good, clear indicator that it's going up and to the right, I'm going to go ahead and give it my check of approval. And yes, that's a root sign because I'm a nerd. Okay guys, I hope this made any sense to you. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me through the Estes website. Take care guys, bye.